Welcome to our SMART Goal TeamMark tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to walk you through the very basics of how to use the goals tool within TeamMark. I want to preface this tutorial by saying creating SMART goals is a process that requires some background knowledge. If you're going to create a SMART goal that is going to have a high potential of transforming your instruction and truly supporting student achievement, it's important that you provide yourself with this background knowledge. There are a variety of resources out there and different trainings and workshops you can participate in, and we encourage you to take the time to learn how a SMART goal works, how to create the SMART goal, which data to look at, and which data to continue to use throughout the year. What TeamMark does is it provides the framework and the tools to help teams plan for their goals and to manage their goals throughout the year through formative narrative progress monitoring. So let's go ahead and get started here. Again, in this tutorial we're just going to show you the tools in TeamMark and how they work. So the Goals tab, you can see right here, is found under the Teams tab in the upper toolbar. I've already got the tool open here. This particular tool has no goals entered, so if I check my drop down menu, it's empty. There's nothing there. The first thing that I need to do is go over here to my new goal tab and click that link. Now you'll see you are prompted with a variety of different templates here. At the top, with the goal name, the where we are now, and the where we want to be boxes, this is really where you just set the basic parameters of your goal. For our goal name, we are just going to call it reading. And where are we now? This is where your team will want to have disaggregated some data, to have some point of reference, and to have worked through a variety of data sources so that they can clearly state where their students currently are at in readiness levels with the specifics of this goal. So where are we now? It should probably be some percentage or some quantitative measure. So I am just going to make some numbers up here. Please don't judge my numbers. Again, this is all just to represent the process, not to actually show what you would do as you were creating your goal. Where we now will say 75% students are at or above proficient on state assessment. Where we want to be, this is where your team would have a discussion, what's realistic growth in the time period that you've been given. We're going to, just for the fun of it, going to say we want to be at 100% students proficient or above on state assessment. In TeamMark, the purpose of these text boxes is to facilitate the discourse. It's a place for your team to sit down and as they have the conversation and they engage in the discourse about these statements, they have a place to document that discussion. So once those statements have been made, you've given your goal a name, you've stated where you're currently at, and you have stated where you want to be, then you can move down to the lower portion. This is where you work through your S, M, A, R, and T aspects of your goal. Now again, there are a variety of different templates and processes to help teams work through creating a SMART goal. This is just one way to go about it. For each of these letters we have provided some tips. However, again, it's just an open text box. So it's important that your team document the information needed for this goal in a way that makes sense to them. So following our tips here, you would just type information. We support the S being a place to document some specific indicators of improvement that you will use, and you can see our example there. Just going to type some sample text there so we have some information once we save this template. Move to my M. My M would be where you document how this goal is going to be measurable. You will actually state how each indicator will be measured. So you might put measure 1, measure 2. Please keep in mind this is just an example. Within this text box you can type any information that makes sense to your team. For the A, we've set it up for the A to stand, well, the A does stand for attainable, but what we like teams to think of is what are the resources that are going to help this goal be attainable? So you will document what resources you will use. You can copy and paste images into these using the image tool. We have found some teams find some great graphic organizers and other information online that they paste into this tool, which makes it easy to reference at a later point. Just a little quick tip for you there. The R can be for relevant or results based. We believe it's important for teams to think about the relevancy of their goal. It makes it more meaningful, and at the same time it's important that a goal be results based. You need to have data to actually show your progress toward that goal. In this example, you can see we've just listed out reasons that this goal is relevant. Again, depending on how your team or school goes about it, you could also use this to list the type of results that you will collect, be it student work samples, different data points, etc. And the last part of the SMART acronym is the T. It's a timeline or a target. You can map out for each of your specific indicators of improvement what the individual timelines are for those. But you can see as I walk through this that it is important that your team have some background knowledge of SMART goals and how to gather your data and how to work with that data as you begin to input information into this template. And if our notes up above don't work for the way your team approach SMART goals, you have the text boxes to work through however you like. What's great though is that once you've entered this information and you save it, all of that information now is stored online, accessible anywhere, anytime, and you can see how it maps it out for you. Here's your goal name. This is a statement of where you are currently at and where you'd like to be. Here's the SMART goal detail. There are reminder pop-ups if you hover over any of these letters. And then here are the notes that you took corresponding to each of those steps, the S, M, A, R, and T. So now you also have this progress tab. I'm going to jump over to a collaboration log because again, one of the things that makes TeamMark so powerful is that all of these tools are integrated. So once I've set up my goals tab, whenever I'm in a collaboration log, you are now going to see that you have a SMART goal window. In this SMART goal window, I can now see the goal that I just created. There's my reading goal. I can view the details of the goal, which will take me back to the Goals tab, or directly from the collaboration log, you can actually monitor your progress toward that goal. So on a weekly basis or every other week, if your team goes in and just jots down a few notes about what they've been doing to work towards that goal, or what they've been focusing on, or if they want to document some student learning data, you can do that in here, and over a period of time you end up with a great record of what your team has done as they've worked toward those individual SMART goals. Some sample text there. And then the progress Likert scale. One more way that TeamMark is supporting discourse. We hope that teams have a conversation about what they want those numbers to mean. We haven't dictated it for you. So your team can decide what a 1 would be versus a 5. The point is to have a conversation. How focused have you been and how committed have you been to working on this goal since the last time that you progress monitored the goal? It's rather subjective, obviously. However, we still believe that it can be a valuable segue to discourse. As your team can easily type your narrative, it's an interesting conversation for teams to have to actually give themselves a progress score. I save that information, and now you will see that down in my goals window here, my progress score is given at a 3. And now if I go to view details, and I click on progress, that note has been date stamped, the note is documented, and my progress is documented. So this is where over a period of time you start to have this great record of how your team has reflected upon their SMART goal. Your goal doesn't end up just written on a piece of paper and stored somewhere, but you actually are supported in having that ongoing discourse about the goal, what you're doing to work toward it. And again, if you can document some student learning data within that progress monitoring tool from the collaboration log, it just adds to the richness of that record. There's also a SMART goal report that you can pull off of the Reports tab. And again, trying to just communicate the basics of the tool. I think that just about wraps it up. As always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact your TeamMark consultant. And for now, happy collaborating.